Hello, I'm Therese Stevens, co-chair of the Cedar Falls 2025 Future Forward Strategic Planning Team. And today we're looking at some progress being made in the people section of the plan. Our guests today and their organizations have been very busy implementing key objectives of the plan. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Julianne Gassmann, Associate Professor of Leisure, Youth, and Human Services at the University of Northern Iowa and Administrative Fellow for UNI's Community Engagement Efforts. Dr. Andy Pattee, Superintendent for the Cedar Falls Community School District. And finally, James HOELSCHER, Program Manager at UNI's Institute for Decision Making. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome, yes, thank you.
James, could you start by giving us a little bit of background on this plan?
Absolutely. The community of Cedar Falls started their planning efforts in mid-2015 and spent a little over 12 months going through a planning process where there was a planning team of approximately 30 individuals from throughout the community who got together and thought through what Cedar Falls has been doing in the past. And we've got a significant amount of public input on different issues and dreams and concerns that the community had. And then what we were able to do is build upon Cedar Falls' kind of long history of planning. They've done, the community itself has done strategic plans in the past, and so this was the next generation of the planning efforts. So went through that year process and rolled out the strategic plan in roughly the beginning of 2016. So it's been a very interesting process, a lot of great input. The community was fantastic as far as stepping forward, and we have a lot of very strong organizations that are out there leading the efforts for implementation. So what we're trying to do is, about every year or so, is we're checking in with those organizations to say, all right, how are things going? What's been going on? Because we have the vision for the community. Now it's time to check in and see kind of how things have been going and progress is made, where there's been some challenges, that type of a thing.
Very good. Thank you.
As a planning team member, I would say this is and it's my first time as a planning team member. What a forward-thinking approach, and IDM's leadership, you as kind of co-chair and co-leader walking through this process, it really is innovative, directive, and focused on the future growth of Cedar Falls, and it was a great process to go through.
What's been interesting is that a lot of times organizations that are implementing are doing some of these things already, but the planning process is the chance to sort of think about, all right, what's the future hold? And in some cases, organizations start to take their programming to that next level. And so it's always fun to check in and see how things are going.
Very good. Thank you for that background. And with that, check-in is exactly what we're going to do. We're focusing on two goals of the 2025 plan today. The first is goal number 12, where Cedar Falls is identified as a national leader in community engagement with colleges and universities, as well as number 15, Cedar Falls leads Iowa in learning and education for all ages. So Julianne, UNI plays a large role throughout the 2025 plan, and there's a specific goal and objective addressing this idea of community engagement. It states, increase enrollment at UNI by elevating intentional community, business, and university engagement through promoting learning, service, and internship opportunities throughout Cedar Falls. So how do you interpret that idea of intentional community engagement? What does that mean?
Well, the goal actually outlines a lot of examples of community engagement. By definition, community engagement is the collaboration of institutions of higher education working with their local communities for the mutually beneficial, for it to be mutually beneficial for both parties. So the purpose of community engagement for higher education is really for teaching, research, and service to afford students practical application of what they're learning in the classroom. But on the community side, it's really to prepare students to be engaged and educated citizens. It's to help address some of society's toughest issues and have students involved in that. It's to afford faculty issues in their local communities for research purposes and teaching purposes. So it's wonderful to be a part of the Cedar Falls plan because UNI actually also just went through a strategic plan, and it was adopted in the fall of 2016. And one of our main pillars of supporting student success is community engagement. And we really think that if we want to really prepare the future workforce, the best way to do that is to have them be engaged citizens, and you really can do that best by being a partner in your community.
Very good, absolutely. So we've talked about what it means and why it's important, but tell us a little bit about specifically what you and I and the community have been up to further this goal and objective.
I think that story really starts when we started our 2017-2022 strategic plan, and that process looked, I think, very different than when we've done strategic plans in the past, and it included lots of input from people really all over the state of Iowa. There were 8 different listening sessions. There were a lot of opportunities for people to give their input about what you and I could do to make communities better locally and across the state of Iowa. In addition to that, with community engagement sort of being elevated as one of the paths to help students be very successful, we have actually developed a civic action plan that isn't fully developed yet, but that also included a lot of input from community members. And then we have different activities. This past May, in May of 2016, we implemented a Service Learning Institute, and that is where faculty applied to be a part of the Institute. And their application was an indication that they wanted to develop a service learning project in one of their courses that they were teaching. And a lot of people are engaging in service learning, but what I think is very unique about what we've done in the past 2 years is we actually reached out to the community partners that would be paired with the faculty members and asked them to co-create those service learning projects for the students together. So on the 3rd day of the Institute, the entire day, the faculty member sits down with a community partner and plans together something that is very beneficial for student learning, but also furthers the mission or what needs to be developed at the business, so that that community partner can be mindful that what's happening in the classroom is really truly beneficial to the organization and to the community. So those are some examples of input and then actual collaboration that I think is going very well. We've, both from faculty and from community partners, have seen a lot of success in the Service Learning Institute, and that really developing time for people to work together so that the project is really beneficial, but there's a lot of relationship building there, so the ripple effect of that is also very powerful.
Absolutely. It sounds like there's a lot of intentional activity going on to achieve these goals for the university and the community. Is this idea of community engagement something you'd consider sort of a new concept, either for you and I or universities in general?
So it's been around for a while, and it's been around you and I for a while. As a matter of fact, one of the most prestigious recognitions that an institution of higher education could have came out in about 2006 with the Carnegie Classification for Community Engagement, and you and I received that classification in its first attempt, and we have been reclassified every time we've reapplied. So we've been recognized as an institution that really excels in community engagement. What I think is unique is that it has presented itself in the strategic plan, and it is going to be more intentional, and we're going to think about the intersection of the university and the community. I talked a lot about students and student learning, but it's also for faculty and staff to really think about how are we working together for the benefit of both what happens at the university as well as what happens in our communities. So it's not new, but I think the way we're thinking about it and linking it so directly to student success is new.
Very good. Thank you. We need to go to a break now, and when we come back, we'll continue with some more updates and information from our other guests. Thank you.
Maybe a hand with that?
Oh, thank you. Did you see anyone's brought this?
Did you lose this?
Thanks for helping us.
No problem.
Is this your bear? You're welcome.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
There's only one place that has all of the highlights, all of the interviews, and all the great behind-the-scenes footage. Don't miss out on the high-flying action as we break it down on Panther Sports Talk. Tune in each week as Panther Sports Talk covers everything related to University of Northern Iowa athletics. Catch Panther Sports Talk on Channel 15, Cedar Falls Community Television.
Welcome back. I'm Therese Stevens, co-chair of the Cedar Falls 2025 Future Forward Strategic Planning Committee. And I'm here with my guests talking about updates in the people section of the plan. So we're moving on to talk about goal number 15, which is Cedar Falls leads Iowa in learning and education for all ages. So Dr. Pattee, of course, we really can't have a conversation about local learning and community engagement without discussing the Cedar Falls Community School District. So the 2025 plan has a fairly broad objective related to the district. It states continue implementation of the 10-year facility plan and curriculum innovation to provide exemplary pre-K through 12 education. So I know there are new buildings in the works and you just launched your new CAPS program. What else can you tell us? Maybe just a general update about what has been going on with the district over the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, it's been a very exciting last 12 to 18 months as a district. And again, I can't thank enough for the partners that we have across our community. Julianne talked a lot about community engagement, and really that has to be a part of a sustainable community, and certainly something that we strive to achieve as well, with engagement with you and I, engagement with business and industry, our parents, other vested community members as well, because that is what makes a strong community. I have a couple slides just to kind of review some of the things that we're working on right now, and some of these you mentioned as well. Number one is our CAPS initiative. This is a very unique program. It's a program focused, again, on engagement, but a value-added approach, working with business and industries and having students work on projects that those businesses know will add value back into their industry. This year, we first started this off in December, first semester. Our first semester with the CAPS program, we had a total of about 15 students involved with the CAPS program in an engineering strand. They were sent out of Viking Pump. They worked on various projects across the community. They built 3D printers for Viking Pump. The previous slide showed 2 students working on a project through Crichton, and it was actually a step stool for a Crichton vendor that wanted to make a lighter step stool, a stronger step stool, a step stool that would be cheaper to manufacture, but also had data ports and data connections. And those 2 students worked through that project and actually saw it to fruition because they presented to the vendor which accepted that product. So again, it's about adding value back to the business and industry, giving students real-world experiences, project-based approaches, and having them understand, for sustainability purposes, that there are tremendous opportunities right here in Cedar Falls and Cedar Valley. Here are just a few of our business partners that we have started to work with, and again, this is just within the first 6 months. This list has been added to, so I apologize if somebody who's watching this and say, hey, we've partnered with CAPS recently and you're not on this, because this changes daily just with that outreach and the expansion, and we continuously strive to find what projects would be value added to business and industries that our students can work on, because what we know is we have some of the best and brightest students across Iowa, across the Midwest, and when they have a passion, follow a focus and work on projects that not only are beneficial to them but also that industry, wonderful things occur. So that's been very exciting. Again, this upcoming year, we are going into 3 strands in our Center for Advanced Professional Studies. Technology and engineering, the host site will be at Viking Pump. We're very excited to move into education and teaching, and we're really working to grow that profession, to be able to have more people understand, to experience what teaching is all about, and then move into that, hopefully with a pipeline going to UNI, so we build that sustainability. Because we have, again, great young individuals in our classrooms that know that education might be a pathway, but they haven't quite experienced it, and we want that to grow. Then our last strand is going to be marketing and communications, and that's going to be hosted at Mill Race. Part of that strand is also going to be kind of entrepreneurialism to help students work on projects for maybe areas that they're concerned about, an area that they want to be able to come up with a solution for, and it's going to allow them to dig deeply into some of those challenges.
What I find interesting, Therese, is that Andy's talking about sustainability, and we're talking about the people section of the plan today, but really we have prosperity section of the plan as well. And you mentioned workforce and economic development. What's going on in K-12, pre-K-12 district here will have a significant impact on the local economy, the workforce long term. So we can start to see how the different pieces of the plan start to work together.
And we're involved with another group that's actually meeting later today that's Future Ready, and we're really talking cradle to grave as an educational model, because again, we need to make sure that we have sustainability and supports everywhere throughout our system. It's really that community engagement to ensure that we are a strong, vibrant community, which we are now, but also looking into the future 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Part of the goal also was some of our growth and some of our construction projects, and again, we're very fortunate to have a very forward-thinking community with growth and prosperity. We have multiple projects going on at this time because of enrollment growth. We have Orchard Hill improvements that are occurring. It's one of our elementaries in our community, and that is going to have additions and remodeling done to it to be able to house and expand programming for students. We're also having improvements at North Cedar Elementary with a large addition and remodeling, again, to be able to ensure that we have those educational spaces that allow us to have more flexibility and adaptability and hands-on learning opportunities so students can showcase their creativity, their collaboration, their critical thinking. And then one of the third pieces of that process is our new elementary, Aldrich Elementary, being built on the southwestern side of Cedar Falls. Great amount of growth there, and this will be a new 4-section elementary that will be just a great centerpiece for that area of the community as we look at continued growth and future growth. Few slides and pictures of Aldrich Elementary. I would encourage people, if they've not done so, please drive out there. You'll see just the number of roadways that are being created, the number of houses that are being built, the number of lots that are being developed, and then you can see the new elementary that's under construction and due to be completed in August of 2018, and very, very excited about that. Julianne talked about this as well, and I think it might be the next slide. Just that community partnership, community engagement. We're very excited just because, again, we always focus on collaborative relationships. How do we be most efficient and effective? And this is another area of growth as we looked at our 10-year plan. You and I, the city of Cedar Falls and the Cedar Falls School District, partnered on a tennis complex. We all said we have a need. Why duplicate? Why do we have to have separate facilities? Let's partner to make it more efficient, more effective, and something that's going to be a tremendous complex for everybody across Cedar Falls and the Cedar Valley for future benefit. And I think that's always something that we're excited about. A few things that I don't have slides on, and it kind of ties back into the goal of really being a district of distinction and the best district across the state. We were recently named a Tech Excellence School, one of 19 across the United States. We pride ourselves on utilizing technology for student learning, for student instruction, student engagement, and that's really what the focus was on maker spaces and hands-on learning opportunities, making sure kids can create and use their mind and their hands as they learn about essential skills and opportunities. Our Rocket Club was just 5th in the nation. They were out at DC a few months ago, and they have to launch her rocket. And I'll get the numbers wrong because I didn't write those down, but they had to launch it, the first launch within, at 650 feet within a certain time limit, and then the second launch had to be at 700 feet within a certain time limit, and again, they were 5th in the nation. We were named a Blue Ribbon School, one of our elementary schools this year. It's a national Blue Ribbon recognition for academic excellence. So we are continuing to focus in, and our mantra is every student, every day. We have high expectations and continue to move forward with providing the best opportunity for all kids.
Very good. It sounds like you've been very busy. Tell us, what is maybe something that surprised you or impressed you most related to the progress that the district has made in such a short time?
Well, what I would say, and I've said this hundreds of times, we have the best staff in the world, and it goes back to our people. They care about kids, they're focused on excellence, and they focus on anything they can do to support student learning. And then you look at the collaborative venture that we have as a community. Everybody wants to be better, everybody wants improvement, everybody's looking towards, and in this case 2025, as very lofty goals. And I think that is one of the most surprising things that you see, because you don't see that in a lot of communities. The willingness to sit down, work together, have dialogue, look at efficiencies, look at betterment, and that's a testament to all of our community members.
Absolutely. Thank you. So James, Andy, Julianne, tell us, what's being accomplished here is very impressive, but let us know what's needed to take your efforts to the next level and continue this progress, any of you.
My comment is not necessarily what's needed, but what I find very interesting, and Cedar Falls has done a fantastic job over the years as far as utilizing plans, is a strategic plan like this in some cases will encourage an organization to move forward. But in many cases, like with the school district, there's progress already being made when the plan is together. But doing an implementation or doing an update like this gives us a chance to say, oh, wow, look at the collaboration that's been going on. Look, community engagement, we're having the College of Ed working with CAPS and has a whole new strand there. And so, and again, it gives us a chance to celebrate some of these progresses that are going on. So that's very exciting.
And oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and I would add to that, I think what is demonstrated here by what's happening in the school district and with the city and with the university, and I think we're an example of a lot of collaborations and good work that's happening in this community, but I think what is needed is this to be continued. More dialogue, more people to understand what's happening, more people to think about what kind of partnerships would really benefit the people involved and the community involved. Certainly we take more resource and all of those kinds of things, but what's happening is relationship building and dialogue, and I think that has gotten us to where we're at, and we need to keep going down that road. I think that it has really demonstrated success already, and I think it's pretty exciting where we're headed.
Very good.
And I would borrow a habit from Covey and talk about synergy. That's what this is about. And we meet as an institution quite frequently with multiple different organizations across the Cedar Valley and Cedar Falls to always have conversations. But I think the strategic planning provides more synergy with conversation and focused conversation, and there's a lot of ahas. We might meet frequently with you and I, or the city, or this business and industry, but when you go through a strategic planning process and have multiple other vested voices at the table, they'll ask a question and it'll be, I did not realize that you were working on that. Maybe we can partner or do something uniquely to continue to build upon that. And it just builds those relationships, as Julianne stated, and certainly more of a focused approach for the future.
Very good. Each of you have touched on a number of other organizations that you've worked with in order to carry this out. So tell us, as community leaders, how does it make you feel to see what other organizations are doing, and maybe talk a little bit about the specific organizations you're working with or would like to work with to continue this progress?
There are a number of different examples I could share. I'll share two quickly and then a third. So I mentioned the Service Learning Institute, where faculty partnered with community agencies. One of those was with Community Main Street. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. And last year, they partnered with a marketing class, and that marketing class helped them really develop a lot of the materials that you'll be seeing this year. And the other one that I would share quickly is we've worked very closely with associations such as the Cedar Valley Nonprofit Association, so that really gives us access to not just one organization, but a lot of organizations. So a lot of our partnership and a lot of the programming has come from that partnership.
And I would be remiss without saying a great partner for us has been CFU. Just their connectedness, their ability to continue to be forward thinking. And one of the projects that it's kind of a fledgling project we're just beginning to discuss is a connectivity project with those that might not have connections within their home. Could be because of financial barriers, it could be other barriers, and we're such reliant on technology in this day and age. How can we work with them through our CAPS program to be able to focus on how do we overcome that if it is a barrier for some members of our community. So they're a great partner that we know that will continue to grow. I don't know if that's possible because we work so closely together, but they are such a great asset for all of Cedar Falls.
Very good.
And quickly, I would say that what we're looking for is that next generation of leaders within these organizations. You know that a plan is working. You know that organizations have committed to the process. When new faculty members at UNI are participating in a plan, when new faculty administrators and what have you are continuing to do the good work that has been already started just recently.
And I think one of the exciting parts of that, we had 2 students involved with the strategic planning, 2 high school students, and that was great to see their thoughts, their conversations, and I believe there were 2 students from UNI there as well, and that was outstanding to have their voice there at the table.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's all the time we have for today's update. I'd like to again thank my guests, Dr. Julianne GASSMANN, Dr. Andy PATTEE, and James HOELSCHER. Thank you for your updates and all of your hard work on the Cedar Falls 2025 plan. We look forward to hearing more about their progress and the work of other local organizations to achieve our vision for the City of Cedar Falls in 2025. Thanks again. I'm Therese Stevens.